Hey there, welcome back to Science Fiction. I am Salim Suterwalla, and as always, I'm joined with my friend and co-host, Carl Eames. Carl, how are you?
Good evening, Salim. Welcome. It's good to be back. Welcome back, and I'm excited to talk about some Sandman tonight. And how have you been?
Pretty good, busy for the most part, just a lot going on, but I've been pretty good. This shirt fits me, the Spider-Man shirt that I bought a while back. Um, so I tried throwing it on, like, oh, okay, good, it fits me now. So I decided to wear my Spider-Man shirt that I had bought a while ago. It was a goal to get down so I can at least fit into this. So
I have a Iron Man shirt. I still have it. I've worn it literally just one time. I bought it off of Etsy. It's just a plain black shirt, nothing on it. But on the inside, there's an arc reactor that actually lights up with batteries, like a battery pack that carries on the
oh,
inside.
nice.
I've worn it one time because I cosplayed as War Machine, and that was 10 years ago, and I have not been able to fit it since. So,
Uh,
so
I was gonna
that's my
say you should
goal.
have worn it. Yeah, I was gonna say if you should have worn it to when we went to C2E2, but I guess not. Okay,
Yeah, no,
that's fine.
it's
You'll
nothing
get
like this.
you'll get back there. You'll get
I
back.
hope so.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, so we have a fun show today. We're gonna talk about Sandman. That's gonna be our primary objective. But before we get into um, Sandman, we do have some fast flicks. So if you want to go ahead and play that video. All right, so our fast flicks. So the first things first, a lot of changes again happening in DC world, DCEU world. HBO Max will not be moving forward with their Cape Crusader animated series. So they're canceling, I guess, like 6 upcoming animated series, and this is one of them. It was project was originally ordered back in like May 2021 with Bruce Timm and J.J. Abrams, and Matt Reeves was also attached to the show as well. But they originally what they wanted to do was build upon the '90s animated series, which was co-created by Tim. And as we all know, that was aired on Fox Kids. It was like 80 some episodes, 80 some plus episodes. So they decided not to move forward with this. What are your thoughts on that? Like, it's interesting that I know HBO Max is making a lot of changes. So
Yeah, like we were just talking about right before the stream went up that They're still continuously making these changes at with HBO, Discovery, or Warner Brothers, and all that stuff. It's disappointing, but they're still supposedly are trying to shop this around, because I know a lot of people absolutely want to see it. It's not that it's failing to gain interest of the public. It's more of
Yeah.
the WB slash Discovery wants to go in a different direction, and having animated content is seeming less and less. Like, I hope this doesn't mean that they're going to eventually shop or axe Harley Quinn or anything like that, but they've been making a lot of moves and trying to steer away from certain content, certain audiences, and make it more. I don't know. They have a lot of plans, and it's hard to understand exactly what they want to do. But I definitely, like, we talked about this before, because they had it at DC Fandom back in November. Had a little interview and stuff there, so I'm very interested in seeing this. um, it's just wondering, like, who could they shop this to? Because it's not like they can go to Disney Plus, obviously. Maybe it's a Netflix this type of thing, because I think that's probably the only place that they could shop this to, and it would be okay. It's like a neutral setting. They can't, like I said, they can't do Hulu. They can't do. I mean, they can do Hulu, but yeah, I don't see why Disney, because Disney
Yeah.
technically owns Hulu, and there are DC contents on Hulu, so they could go there, but it would make more sense for Netflix.
Yeah, potentially. And like you said, like the Batman, like Batman stuff will always sell. Like it's Batman.
Hmm.
It's kind of like the '90s animated series is fondly remembered by everyone, just like the '90s X-Men series was. It's everyone loves that, so they definitely want to uh, go that route. If I mean, people definitely want to watch it if and when it comes out. Yeah, Amazon will be interesting. I don't know though. Like I can't remember if like Amazon's interesting because they have deals with places, but they also like Amazon Prime is like weird. Like I don't know. They always they do their own original stuff. They don't and the stuff like they have for that's owned by other properties. It's like you have to rent it. I don't know if Amazon does like yeah I don't know because I mean well
Well,
there's
Amazon
like
Prime and
move
then Amazon Rentals are two different things.
yeah I know Amazon Prime does have stuff like you can watch for free that's like other companies and stuff but I don't know like it's interesting I don't know how Amazon uh, would do it I've never really heard of Amazon taking over like random shows like that
I
I
think
can't
they've picked up a
remember.
couple shows, but I don't really watch TV, so I wouldn't be able to say specific examples. But I
Yeah, I
think
don't remember.
they've taken. Didn't they take, like, what's that show called? Community?
Or did they? I don't know.
I think they
Cliff
had.
Cliff
Yeah.
Cliff is saying they grabbed the Expanse. I don't know
Hmm.
what that is, but I guess they took that when they had the opportunity. So, um, yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens with this. I'm sure it'll come out at some point. I can't imagine them just never releasing or continuing on the animated series. Maybe they'll do it later or something like that. But continuing on with uh, things with DC being canceled or changed, so they pushed back Aquaman and Shazam. Both of them pushed. So after the Aquaman sequel was pushed back originally back from December 16, 2022 to March 17, 2023, uh, it's getting shifted one more to December 25th, 2023. So the same release window as the initial like December 2022 premiere date following the 2018 holiday debut of the first film. And then Shazam Fury of the Gods will take over the vacant Aquaman 2 premiere date, where it's going to be March 17, 2023. So, yeah, I mean, there was a quote from the CEO of Warner Discovery. So I guess he was saying like Warner bring uh, they plan to bring Warner back and produce great high quality films with a mission to protect the DC brand. So he's like, we have some great DC films coming up: Black Adam, Shazam, and Flash. Flash. We're working on all of those. We've seen them. We think they're terrific, and that we can make them even better. So they're being kind of vague in general about reasons, saying, "Oh, we're going to make them better." We know, for one thing, they're adding a lot of scenes with Ben Affleck for Aquaman 2. So that alone could be the reason why they're pushing that back, because it's um, sounding like he's Ben Affleck's Batman is going to be a big part of Aquaman 2, bigger than what we originally thought. So that could explain Aquaman, but Shazam is interesting that they're pushing that back. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think something more is amiss?
I don't, we were looking at articles. We don't really have much insights, like direct, at least couldn't find anything of why they're making this delay. But like we were saying, we've been wondering, like, why didn't they even show or say anything at Comic-Con? Because,
Right.
the movie's coming out this year, or at least we thought Aquaman was coming out soon, and they didn't have anything to show. But the only thing, which I'm only going to say this because I saw it, but I can't validate it at all. But I saw someone saying that they delayed it because delayed both movies because they didn't have enough money to, like, for whatever, like they needed more money to reshoot, and it just like moving it around because they needed more money for Aquaman and stuff, so they don't have the money now. Just it doesn't make sense to me, but that's what I saw. It was said, but because WB is not like broke or anything, so I'm pretty sure that they can handle an increased budget. Like, sure, they're struggling, but they're not broke. Struggling with the movie side of it, at least.
Yeah, I
But
mean, they're not Disney, but they're not like
yeah,
they're not like some like CW or something like that. Like what?
mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's
Well, they are the
bizarre.
CW, but it's
Well,
not.
I mean,
Yeah,
not like
they're not
like
TV.
right.
But
I don't know. That
yeah,
yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully Black Adam doesn't get pushed out of nowhere. So hopefully that's coming out this year. So
yeah, that's what 2 months from now, right?
yeah. So we'll see. So next news: Spider-Man: No Way Home returns to theaters September 2nd. So there's a new extended cut of Spider-Man: No Way Home, and it's now titled Spider-Man: No Way Home: The More Fun Stuff version. It's scheduled to hit the big screen September 2nd, 2022, in both the US and Canada. I guess they haven't really had a release date for other countries yet, but yeah, they're trying to make more money off this film. I don't know how much more extended it's supposed to be.
It's 11 minutes more.
Oh, that's it? Yeah, so they're just trying to make more money off of this film. That's about it. I'll just wait till my friend can download it. Yeah, I don't. That
doesn't sound like you're planning on going back to the theaters for Spider-Man.
No, I mean I've seen it like a lot. So I don't know if I want to go back and pay like maybe if there's like a $2 matinee or something. I don't know. Like, I don't feel like going to the theaters because I've literally watched this movie like countless times. I love it, so I watch it a lot. But
yeah, what I've been I had not purchased the movie yet, and then I didn't realize that up until about the day after this announcement that the Blu-ray version doesn't have deleted scenes. At least that's what I saw. It said the Blu-ray version does not have deleted scenes. I actually purchased this movie a week ago before this announcement on digital, and I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know if that has deleted scenes or not. It sounds like it probably won't. So I'm a little upset that if they had these deleted scenes and they're just saving it just to go back to the theaters to get this more money when it could have been on my Blu-ray special or my digital, special, extras and stuff. So I'm upset about that. They do have some clips of the extra scenes online, so you can go on YouTube and watch them. I
Oh,
know
okay.
there's like an elevator scene. Again, it's not like the full 11 minutes are on YouTube, and then they're just throwing like it is 11 minutes total of extra footage, and then there's some short clips of the extra footage. There's an elevator scene with, when they go back to Peter's apartment with all of the villains, Sandman and
Right.
stuff. They're all in the elevator going up. So I saw just the thumbnail of that. I didn't watch the actual scene. There's another scene of Peter back at high school, towards the beginning of the movie when he's at the gym. And I think there's some other stuff with all three of the Spider-Man stuff. But I know it's like 11 minutes total. Back in theaters next month. So if you're interested, Spider-Man super fan, maybe you want to go check that out. But for me, it is a hard pass.
Yeah.
And I do hope that stuff's on my digital, but it doesn't sound like it is.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
said, my friend will find it online and download it once it's probably gonna be in a theater for like a month, and then they'll release it on like not Disney, but on wherever Sony releases their stuff, like Stars or whatever.
I think
Um,
wasn't it on Netflix? I could have sworn I saw something because I know they had
that Uncharted. I
something.
mean, maybe that's
The
what you're thinking
Uncharted
of,
is on
Tom
Netflix.
Holland.
Yeah, that is true. It is basically Sony's distribution because they're not going through Disney Plus for all the Marvel
Correct.
stuff, but they are going through Netflix, which Uncharted is just popped up. So I do expect No Way Home to show up there. I could have sworn I saw some other, maybe like
I I
the
thought they
older
was on.
Spider-Mans.
No, the older one I think is on Netflix, but I don't think No Way Home is.
Yeah,
Let's
probably not
take a
now because they
look.
want people to go to the theaters.
No, but
But
like even the short. Yeah, it's on Stars. It was always on Stars.
okay.
Um, yeah, it was on Stars. They had because Stars I guess has a subscription thing that you can just for Stars, kind of like how HBO or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how many people sign up for Stars.
This
I
is
don't even know what
a streaming app for
that's what it
stars.
looks like. That's what it looks like. I think there's a Watch Now subscription, or maybe it's not a streaming thing. Maybe it's like a particular like kind of the way you can just through cable sign up for Stars.
Okay, yeah, that's just like normal cable then.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Yeah, I have no clue. But
Yeah, because I
anyways,
think Sony's specific for streaming, releasing content, like you said, with Uncharted, is going through Netflix. So we might see Spider-Man's content on Netflix is it because they don't want to do Disney. But speaking of Disney, Avatar, the original Avatar from James Cameron, is also going back to theaters next month, September 23rd. So if you are loving Avatar and you want it to be continue to be the highest grossing movie of all time in theaters, and you want to continue to feed that and go back to theaters and check it out again, I still have only seen this movie once, and I will continue. Well, I guess I'll probably watch it again, but I'll have to wait because this was on Disney Plus. But because of this announcement that is going back to theaters, Disney Plus actually pulled it from the streaming service, so that if you want to watch it anytime soon, you're going to have to go back to theaters or obviously buy it physically. But you're gonna have to go back to theaters to watch it until it comes back to Disney Plus because they will put it back there. But while it's in theaters, it will not be available to streaming services.
yeah,
You plan on going back to Pandora
no,
soon?
I will be. If I want to watch it, I'll watch it on my friend's Plex that he has downloaded. So that's what I will do if I want to watch Avatar. Uh, but yeah, no, I'm not going to theater to watch Avatar again. Like I've seen it plenty of times. I mean, It's not a bad movie. It's solid, especially just because of the its time, the way they did the movie and everything. It's pretty cool, like as far as the graphics, the CGI, and all that. But yeah, man, I'm not gonna go to the theater to watch Avatar. There's like other stuff coming out that I want to go watch in the theaters instead. Like obviously Black Panther's gonna be coming out in like 3 months. 2 months you have Black Adam coming out. Um, yeah, those are the movies that I'm looking forward to go to the theater for. Not movies that I've already seen like plenty of times. Like no, like I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I love Spider-Man. I've seen No Way Home a billion times. I'm not going to the theater just for 11 more minutes of No Way Home. I can wait to see the extended stuff, which probably won't even be that like huge. Like if you're talking about them showing a scene of them going up on an elevator, it's like the hell out of here. I'm freaking paying $14.
$20 for that 11 minutes.
Like get the hell out of here, you bozos. Like, get out of here. But yeah, so that's what my thoughts are on that. But moving on, unless you had more thoughts on Avatar, but moving on, I Am Groot shorts on Disney Plus. They were fun.
Well, 1 second before you do that, I forgot about one quick one that Disney Plus, if you continue to talk about them, is that it was announced that Disney Plus specifically is working on a new King Kong series, a live action series. So that's just recently announced. They just like got some names attached to it. I'm sorry, I don't have all the information about who exactly. It wasn't anyone that was like a particularly big name. I know this is like the Peter Jackson King Kong, but this picture, but the actual series is I don't believe is associated with him. But it is something that is being developed for Disney Plus, so we'll probably see it sometime in 2023 or 2024. But that is all. But King Kong is coming back.
Cool. I like King Kong. He's a cool character, and I like when he beats up things and destroys them. It's fun. Yeah. So technically Marvel is not doing it. This could just be Sony trying to push it back into the theaters. So we really don't know.
Yeah, that is 100% Sony's decision to make.
Yeah.
So Marvel has nothing to do with that.
With Spider-Man, it's not Marvel trying to decide. They don't have controlling rights in that regards over Spider-Man, the way it's released and all that stuff. So, yeah. Sony definitely is trying to make more money out of that, but whatever, man. If other people want to go watch it, it's no skin off my back, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, and
anyway,
to keep in mind, especially given the surprise that there aren't any Spider-Man movies on the MCU Phase 4 and Phase 5 or Phase 5 docket, they don't have anything until Kraven comes out, which is not this year. So they got pretty much no movies. The only movie they even had this year was Uncharted. So they want some cash. So they definitely
and Morbius and Morbius was absolutely trashed. So like, they're like itching and scratching for money or like good movie or something. So and they can't. Obviously, it's Sony, so they can't think of anything original and good. So they're just putting something that was already a hit back into the theaters. Anyways, so yeah, the I Am Groot shorts on Disney Plus, they've been fun. They were fun. They were nice little shorts. I don't know if they're canon, if they mean anything. I guess it's just kind of showing Groot growing up from when he was back into the little pot and then getting out of the pot and growing up steadily to being that teenager. But yeah, they were fun. They just kind of made me think of like the Pixar shorts. That's all I thought of. They're cute little shorts and yeah, that's I thought they were enjoyable. I think it's like they're like 6 minutes. There's 4 of them and there's like 6. There's 6 minutes each.
There's 5 of them.
So, there's 5. Oh shoot, Maybe I missed one. Maybe I'll have to go back and look. I thought I saw them all. I guess I'll have to go back and look.
Yep,
Um,
there's 5.
but I thought there was only 4 for some reason.
Do you
Excuse
have
me. But
a favorite one that you, at least the ones you've seen?
I like the one when he was what was the one when he was trying to run away from the big thing um on the ground, and then all of a sudden he's like mad at it, like, or whatever, that it's ignoring him, and he's tiny and it's gonna try to crush him, and then he turns out, and then he like lifts something, and there's these tiny little like like species or whatever under a
Yeah,
leaf,
that was
and
this
then
one, this episode.
oh yeah, and then he's like, it's like tables have turned, and he doesn't understand why they hate him. It's like kind of the same thing. Like, because he's just like a ginormous thing come to them, and yeah, that one was kind of cute, cool. How about you?
For me, I think it's hard to pick. I do think that they're all really fun. Um, I think I like the one where he was like, just for all of them though, like, just real quick, personal opinion, little kid, because I guess like Baby Groot was volume 2, right? And
Right,
Infinity War, he's teen Groot. So I guess this is like Kid Groot because it's kind of in between. So I'll call
right.
him Kid Groot. Kid Groot is like a little demon because he's kind of,
But the first one, he's still in the pot, so it's like that one is before Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Like, I don't think it's all steadily between them, because remember that first
yeah,
episode,
he's
he's
still in
still
the
in the
pot
pot.
for all the rest of the episodes he's like
Sure,
he's this size.
right.
So yeah, he's just like a little kid, but he's like a little demon basically. Like in this episode, he skins the animal and takes the hair. In
Yeah.
this episode, he actually didn't he step on those little
Yeah, by
things?
accident, because they like one of his leaves fall on them, and they start like harvesting it and eating food, and then he goes to grab more leaves and
Hmm.
runs back to give it to them, and he accidentally steps on them when he's running back, because he doesn't remember where their little village actually was. So he
Right.
actually steps on them.
And then
He does
the first
technically he doesn't
episode,
I say
uh, the
technically he doesn't kill them, because they show them alive
right,
still.
yeah, they were fine, but like at first you think like, oh, he killed them.
Yeah.
Then the first episode he was fighting the other plant, trying to get attention and stuff, and everyone loves to speed past my house on their muscle cars. Um, and then the one, probably my favorite episode is the one he was having that dance off. Did you see that one where he was dancing with
Yeah.
himself, kind of?
Yeah.
Even that one, he basically killed himself. He sent it out into space and to freeze. So he's kind of like a little demon. Like he doesn't really have remorse or whatever, and he's kind of like just being a
He's a
bad kid.
child. He's a
Yeah, he's
child.
being a bad kid, basically.
Yeah, he doesn't know right from wrong. There's no one around him when he's doing these things to like tell him to stop.
But
but
yeah, they were fun. Like I said, it's really like a 6-minute episode with 4 minutes of content and 2 minutes of credits.
right.
So if you don't have to really commit a whole lot to it, you can watch it all in like the span of 30 minutes if you haven't checked them out.
Yeah,
But
if you're
they're
like
a
on
lot of
a
fun.
train, like if you're on a train ride, back to home or whatever, just want to flip on your phone and watch it on there or something like that. Um, it's fun to watch. Check them out. They're, like I said, they're cute little shorts. Um, they're fun. But yeah, let's get into our main topic here. So I did not finish the series yet. Like I just said, didn't have a lot of time. I'm on episode 8. So I'm going to let you take most of the control of this. I'll give my thoughts on what I've seen so far. Um, I'll just start off. So with Sandman, and we might give some spoilers. We'll try not to. Just heads up. But so I'm liking the series so far. like I told you before we started recording, I think for me to grasp the entirety, like the rhyme and reason what they're doing, I'm gonna have to finish the series because each episode, like as I'm watching, I'm thinking that you know, like I think I have an understanding of the major thing, like of the major antagonist, who it is now, but each episode, I thought the antagonist was gonna be someone else. Like I thought it was changing after every episode. Like when you get into I think what's this the second episode, the guy who plays John what's his name? John something or another. Like I thought he was gonna be the main antagonist, but something changes, something happens in there that switches that up. I think my favorite episode so far has been that diner episode. It was just like really like dark, and I always like episodes and scenes and stuff where the like everything happens in one scene and set like in one setting.
One area, one setting. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I always love like stuff like that. And that entire episode was just that setting and that like diner. It was really cool. I just liked like how and the actors really make they make everything like the way they perform in those situations is always interesting to watch, and the emotions in that episode, all kind of like just all over the place. And that episode is probably one of the one of the darker episodes that they have in this series. And I mean, the series is dark for the most part. I mean, it has its moments of light, but this is a pretty dark series overall. But yeah, I've enjoyed it so far. Like I said, I think for me to finally get a complete grasp on everything that is like the rhyme or reason of what's going on, I think I'm gonna have to finish these final 3 episodes, and then I'll be able to really see, oh, aha, that's what's happening. Okay, but yeah, those are my thoughts generally so far on Sandman. How about you?
So again, I don't watch a whole lot of TV, and having not read anything about the comic book and stuff, I was going in completely blind. I really thought this show was a really, really great show. Like it's fantastic. It's probably the best TV show I've watched this year, and I didn't necessarily have those expectations going in because it is Netflix and they have traditionally do a terrible job of adapting anything from comics to manga to anime or whatever. Almost all of it has been bad, but again, never doing any real research into the show before it was released is, but up in like getting closer, I saw how much the original writer, the creator of the Sandman, Neil Gaiman, was working directly with Netflix like the entire time, and that is usually a good sign when you have someone, not only the original creator working closely to make sure it's adapted well and everything translates well, and that he even had his hand in like casting and the direction of the visuals and stuff like that. But the fact that this this isn't like the first time that he's been approached with adapting the Sandman, because it was supposed to be a movie and it was supposed
Right.
to be like adapted. Like he's been approached multiple times. The Sandman comics came out, I believe, in like the late '80s. So this isn't like a new comic or something that just started off the ground or was originally for TV. This is stuff that's been around for a long, long time and has a huge fan base, and it's probably his most well-known work, but he's been keeping it so close to the vest when everyone approaches him because he wants to make sure it was done right. And he felt confident enough at this opportunity to make sure that it was it gets out, and that he has so strong of a hand in it that it gets adapted correctly. And I think, again, without having read everything, but he's still influenced it, and a lot of people are really gravitating to it. I did see some initial reviews I didn't read them, but I know a lot of people were trashing it early on, like the first, like before even release and stuff like that. And they all look like fools now because watching the show, this is a really, really great show, and I
Mhm.
couldn't recommend anything higher, honestly, of anything that I've seen this year, including Moon Knight, including Miss Marvel. What's the other show? The DC one with what's his name?
Peacemaker.
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 Like, yeah, like I this blows all of that out the water for
Yeah,
me.
Netflix kind of killing it though right now with Stranger Things and now this. It's um, that's like Stranger Things season 4 was fantastic, and this show has been really good. Like I said, I've liked it, and you're giving it obviously high remarks. So they're doing really great things with it. I know you want to get into some of these still frames you have. Uh, want to give more thoughts on that, so I'll let you take over that now.
Yeah, so first things first, I actually want to give credit where credit is due. For the most part, you are right, Salim, about Constantine. Well, first off, I'll say Constantine because they call her Constantine in the show, but I'm going to say Constantine because she is, relatively John Constantine. So in the comics, the character in that is actually appearing in the comics is John Constantine, but they didn't use John Constantine in the show. They used Joanna Constantine. So she is basically a female version of that character. But she is meant to be John Constantine. So they actually didn't go with John for legal reasons because of one, they apparently there's more John Constantine stuff planned in the future
Is it
for
Matt
other
Ryan?
properties. So again,
Has it been Matt Ryan? Because Matt Ryan kind of owns that character.
I don't think so. I think they're probably doing something else, but I know they have other plans. At least that's what was said by specifically Neil Gaiman himself, that they didn't go with John because legal reasons. They're going to be using that character in future projects, so they didn't want John to show up in this series. So they replaced John with Joanna, but they essentially have the exact same role. But I think you've already watched the episode where they did like flashbacks, and
Right,
then they have another Joanna Constantine, but it was actually like Lady, like basically a ancestor, so played by the
right.
same actress. So actually, when I saw that, I was super confused. I was like, wait, is she supposed to be the same person, or like how did that work?" And it would have been better if it was John Constantine in the present day, and then Lady Joanna in the past, and then they'd be two different people. But since she played herself and her own ancestor, it was really confusing. But that's why that is the way it is. But yes, you said before that she was supposed to be John Constantine, so you were absolutely correct in that she is, they are the same character.
Never
um
doubt me again, Carl. No.
oh, you were gonna get questions, sir. But that puts it in another perspective of, this is a DC property. It is, that's another thing that they kind of like soft confirmed. Like we see it in the credits and stuff, but they do have one of the episodes where Jed, the little kid, he's in his dream, and in his dream he's Sandman, the hero. In his little
Yeah,
base he has a Flash toy action figure and a Wonder Woman, and I believe the other one was Batman. One of the screens on his in his lair had like Captain Cold there. So he had like DC heroes and villains all in there. So this is still a DC property. It's not necessarily connected to Snyderverse and the Justice League and Aquaman and all that stuff. We don't really know exactly where it's falling and all of that, but it's not really important either, because it's not like Superman's going to come in and save the day. Like, honestly, Superman is kind of outclassed in all of this stuff. It's kind of just going to go right past him. So it's really not, oh, we need to get the Justice League involved, or we need to call Wonder Woman and call the Green Lantern and all of that stuff. Like, this is this is kind of separate from them. So if anything, it would be like what was it called, Justice League Dark, I believe, like with Constantine and Zatanna, like that would be like the closest thing, but I don't expect them to go in that direction whatsoever. um and what are your thoughts on, like, do you have like a favorite episode so far, or favorite,
Yeah,
like, I
like
mean, you said the diner one,
uh,
was there like a favorite fight or interaction or anything else that you can point out that you liked?
I was very intrigued, like because then when he went goes to hell, um, I was intrigued at who they would get to play Lucifer. Um, and I was trying to think, it's like I wonder if they'll get Lucifer from the other adaptation of DC show, that guy. And I was like, I wonder how they're gonna do this. Like, um, and then it was cool that they used like Lucifer, um, Morning Star, and then they talked about Lucifer being the fallen angel Samuel. Um, that whole fight is interesting. Like leading up to that fight, you expect something different. Like you
Yeah.
expect like a fight, but it's not a fight. Um, it was just a very, very interesting episode, and um, like there's good layers to that episode, and I really that was probably my second favorite episode. And I really liked that fight. Like it was more of like a fight of like wits as opposed to a fight, just a brawn fight type of thing. So it was cool. I thought.
Yeah, like, to me, yeah, I completely agree the same way. I think it was about my favorite. It's my favorite fight of the series, and favorite, second favorite episode, probably. Maybe my third favorite. I do have another one that I really like, but the it was like a fight of philosophy, like, that's
Mhm.
like, and that brings up to a point that I want to make, that so I had heard once someone say it, and I feel the exact same way. When people think of fantasy, um, especially in terms like as entertainment, and usually fantasy means medieval fantasy, because
Mhm.
like they use as generally associated with Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings, and all the dragons and orcs and knights and queens and magic and all of that stuff. And the only other fantasy that a lot of people associate is space fantasy, with Star Wars and Star Trek and all of that other stuff. For me, I'm not into either of those kinds of fantasy situations, despite how popular they very much are, and I probably should, but I'm not. I've just it doesn't do for me. This kind of show is the kind of fantasy that I'm into, where I like literally all of everything that this show was. The very concept of, especially like when you apply it to Marvel, because I think I've said it before,
Mhm.
where I've spent so many hours looking into the cosmic side, and like the cosmic entities of Marvel, like death, and looking into eternity, and like the physical, you know, uh, manifestations of all of these concepts, but they like are actually walking physical beings. So you have characters in this show like Death, um, which this I think this was my second favorite episode, where um, you get to explore this character Death, and their siblings between Dream and Death, and it's just seeing her role, seeing her operate, and seeing her interact with not just Dream, but interact with people. Obviously, they only see her when they're dying. At least that's what it's implied. I wasn't 100% sure if like other people saw her. I don't think so.
No,
Only
well, maybe. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I
It
don't
was
know.
hard to
Like,
say, because like sitting
eh,
here on this bench, it's like, because that guy wasn't dead
yeah,
yet when the soccer
yeah,
ball went to her, and it
but
went to Dream, and he caught it first, and then she
right, and
caught it.
I don't know if it meant like you only see her if you're close to death, and that guy, obviously, that character, that the random character, Franklin, I think it was his name. He was obviously going to eventually die. So maybe that's why he saw her, because she didn't really. Well, no, that's not true, because she interacted with the guy, the apple.
Right, exactly. She ate an apple. I
So
mean, she was
yeah, yeah.
there.
So yeah, people can, I guess, they can see her, and then it's interesting. Like, and what I really also liked about how they that are they're meeting up. Like, you don't know that she's death, like, right
Right.
away. They're just casually talking. Like, you think he's just sitting in a park, and a random lady comes up and is trying to have a conversation with him. And then you slowly pick, oh, okay, so this is one of his siblings. So which one is she? And then you slowly understand who she is, as your conversation is going on. Because you find out in the earlier episode that he has four other siblings. So far, we've seen three of them in this, and there's one that's also MIA, like he was. But maybe we'll find that her. I don't know. Maybe you see that sibling later. But yeah, and the build up to them eventually, like, kind of, you know, conversing was also really neat, and how they did that.
Right, right. Like, so yeah, just that whole episode and like stuff like that, that's fascinating to me. Like, because you even see like when she takes people away, they don't like show it directly on camera, so that just makes it me even more intrigued. Like, okay, now how did, like, what happened? Because it only takes like a second. She goes away, she walks away with the person, and then you can kind of see like a shadow go up,
Mm-hmm.
and then it comes back, and then she walks around, and that's it. Like, you don't really know. She did it with the baby. She did it with the guy that got hit by the car. She did it with the older man playing his instrument. I think it was like one other person. Actually, several other people. She had like the junkie that was on
The drown,
drugs.
the person that
Uh,
drowned. Did you mention that?
the person that drowned, yeah, that guy as well. And it's just, it's interesting just the way they even depict that. It's like they're living their life and they don't even know, and all of a sudden here comes this person, and they sometimes they just like continue on, and but then it just like uh, uh, it comes to them, it's like, wait a second, something's off here. Wait a second, I know who you are. Don't tell
Yeah.
me it's time. Like, it's now. And then they have this out of body experience where they can see themselves dead. And it's like, that's stuff like that. Like, that really speaks to me personally. That stuff is the stuff that I find the most entertainment, as opposed to dragons and space fights with lightsabers and stuff like that. That doesn't really do anything for me.
I like it all. Give
Yeah.
me this and dragons fighting in space. No. No, I definitely do. I like it all.
Well,
But
you
yeah.
didn't say anything about dragons fighting in space. Now that sounds fun. Why hasn't that happened yet?
It will one day, Carl. Maybe someone will steal
Maybe
that.
that's what
So
you should be
there's
doing.
there's a Sony executive listening somehow to us, and he's gonna make a dragon fighting in space. It's gonna happen. This is copywritten. Sony executive. Don't
Uh-huh.
steal. If I see a Sony picture of a dragon fighting in space, I'm suing.
And starring
uh,
Tom Holland.
yeah. Okay, so you had a couple other one more scene I think in here that you wanted to get into. I don't know if
Well, there's a couple other things. The We didn't want to do. I don't want to talk too much because you haven't gotten that far. Like I said, this character was interesting, and I wanted to point this out before when we were just doing trailers and stuff, but it was hard to get a good picture. But I wanted to know if you had noticed that his eyes had mouths in them. He didn't have, because it was
yeah,
in the
when he
trailer,
first.
but it's really brief.
No, I saw him when he takes them off in one of the episodes. It's like teeth or something like that, in his eyes. I don't know if it's teeth or like. But I saw that was like a mouth type uh, stuff. Does this? Is he? You know who Timothy Elephant is?
No.
I get a Timothy Elephant vibe from this guy. I don't know why. He just made me think of him. He's I can't remember. He what else has he been in? I don't know. Anyways, go on. I'll try to think of something. I'll try to think of something I can reference
Let's
back
see
to.
what else we got here. Let's see. There is. Well, see. I don't remember if they wrapped this story. No, they didn't wrap the storyline up yet. Because I don't want to talk about too much until we get to the end. But they do. Just in case, if anyone did watch the entire series right away, they did add a 11th episode, so there's 10 total, and then they added a bonus episode a couple of days ago. It was really like Thursday or Friday. So there is an extra episode that was added that has 2 storylines in it. Those storylines don't really they don't change or add anything to the end of the season. It's more of these are 2 storylines that happened one storyline happened probably like a long time ago. It's actually a fully animated story, and so it happened a long time ago before the events of the show. And the second storyline happened during the events of the show, but it wasn't something that directly influenced any of the outcomes of the show. So I would say if you didn't know that, go back and watch that. It does have, Dream is in there. It is as Morpheus. I think the first storyline involves cats, and again, that's animated. It is a decent story, but maybe not the most stimulating to anyone that wants to see Morpheus do his thing. The second storyline does have Morpheus in it, so I would say go, watch that. It is something that could be important later on. Again, having not read the comics, I don't know what they are necessarily going to do next, but there is a season 2 that is supposed to be in the works but has not been officially announced. So we're waiting on that. I do want to go back though, before we go on. I don't have a clip of it, but there was I think you've probably watched the one episode where Morpheus and Death, right?
Right.
Dream and Death go back, and they were talking in the past about humans not wanting to live forever, and they had the one
Oh yeah,
guy.
that episode's really cool too. When
Yeah, tell me your thoughts on that episode.
it's interesting, like you think the buildup is eventually of that guy saying "kill me" because eventually, like the people he loves will pass away. You see, and actually you see that. You see him in misery, and then he's still like, "There's still so much life to live. I love this." Like he like even death. Death. Morpheus is sitting there and thinking, "This is it. This is where he tells me I want to. I don't want to live anymore." But he's like, "Give me more." Like
Hmm.
it's like that was really cool, and it's interesting to see the waves and turns of that character because he's generally a good guy, but he has a moment where he does a bad thing, um, and then he's obviously Morpheus tells him that you shouldn't do this thing, and I think he does kind of take that to heart. Um, and you kind of see Morpheus too, like the reason why he keeps meeting with this character. Like obviously he gets offended that that character says like you're lonely and you need someone, a friend in your life. And then like obviously there's a reason why he keeps coming back every 100 years to meet with this guy. Um, but yeah, it's a fun episode. And it's fun to see like the different times uh, each century like as it's going through and when they finally meet again when he's free Morpheus that is obviously in a modern time, and that guy obviously he missed one because he was trapped, and that guy still shows up there, and then it finally Morpheus is finally ready to admit, yeah, this guy is a friend of mine, and they sit down and are going to have their conversation. And the other interesting part was like, damn, this bar is fucking old.
Right,
Like,
yeah, that's what
holy
I was
shit.
gonna say. Like this whole thing started, I believe it was like 1388 or something like that. So
Yeah, it's
this
like
business has
600
been around
years.
for 600 years.
How is this? How are there places? I want to go. Just random, but this is like one of the reasons I want to go to like like DC again, just because I bet you there's. I mean, not to say they're 600 years old, but I bet you there's shit that's been around for like 200-300 years. Um, that they're still standing and it's probably like a business or something. I like stuff. I love stuff like that. I love it. It's so cool. Like seeing. I mean, I guess it's reasonable to think that that place was still something functioning. Maybe like if it was handed down or like other places bought out the venue and created their own thing. But it was kind of funny to think that it was continuously a bar for that many years.
Right, yeah.
Like,
And then it finally got shut down, but they really just built a new one like right
yeah,
next door.
yeah. Just the new inn, and they had an arrow going to the other way. And I think it was not a bar anymore. It's more of a coffee shop. I think it seemed like it
hmm
wasn't. Maybe I don't know. It didn't seem
Yeah,
like
I
a
don't know.
bar anymore.
But it was like still had the same name, but it was like the
Right.
new whatever it was called. The new one is over there.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was a fun. Each one of these episodes, like I said, I think obviously they're all connected in the majority, but each episode almost has its own story too, and that's what's also cool about this show. Like each episode is a new story and a new meaning to it, and a new lesson that you could probably take away from it as well.
hmm
Um, that's another really cool thing about this show, in my view as well.
Yeah, one thing that on that note is that not only are these episodes they're really good, but I like that they can tell this story um, without, especially like episodes like the diner, where the main character is not even like you don't even see
Right,
Morpheus until like 40 minutes into the episode, maybe 50.
right.
Like this whole thing was just these new characters that we've never seen before that are
And
only
you
in
never
this
see again.
episode, and they're only in
Yeah.
this episode. And then the only other person that you do see is the guy because he had the ruby.
Mhm.
But other than that, like that was a whole episode that all you needed to know was this guy with the ruby can make people say how they really feel and act on their own like actual desires and stuff as opposed to lying to each other and doing things like that, and they can just like act out of their own carnal instincts. uh, but for the most part that's all you need to know in that whole episode. You don't see the main character, and you don't necessarily, it doesn't even necessarily tie into the larger story, but it does help you get some perspective as to um, Morpheus's moral stand and uh, how he sees things. Because even in that episode with the guy that lives forever, he you could see some like his moralities. He, even though he comes off as this cold, he doesn't care about humanity type of person. At the same time, he does like, slavery is wrong. Like,
Right.
don't do that. You're gonna regret it. Like he still, regardless of him not caring about humanity, he still cares enough to tell someone else that you shouldn't
Yeah,
engage in
especially
slave
because
practices.
the especially the irony of him being free and being able to live forever and enjoying his life, and the thought that he is, in a business that's enslaving humans,
hmm
um, and not letting them live freely, is it's kind of like, you know kind of an ironic thing. And that's how he says it to him. So you should not be like, how could you who understands the freedom of life, what life is, the meaning of life, and you've enjoyed such a long lifespan, how could you allow be in this business that enslaves people? So yeah, that's and like I said, like each episode, like I said, it has meaning to it, and it's just been fun. I don't. Do you have any other final thoughts here as we get wrapped up?
I think that'll do it. I do recommend, Salim, you go back and finish those last couple episodes,
Yeah,
and I
I'm
do
probably
hope.
gonna watch them rest of this week. If not tonight, I'll watch them rest of this week.
Yeah, I do hope for a season two. I don't. I did look and see like just how much content there is in all of these, because I thought it was just like a single story, like one volume of comics, and then that was it. But there's actually multiple volumes of the Sandman, so I think they do have opportunity for more stories. So I do hope for season two. So I do tell everyone, please go watch this show, and so I can go see more of this. Hopefully next year if they make more. So please do that.
Excellent. Yeah,
Please watch.
yeah. Thanks again, Cliff. Matthew joining us later. Q, man, you're a stud, and Cliff, obviously, both of you guys are consistently here every week, rain or shine. It's night, so there's no shine, but we appreciate you guys. But yeah, that's a wrap for today. Obviously, please check us out every week. Uh, if you can't catch us live, obviously we're on podcast, all your podcast providing services. Check out everything else the Bar Room has to offer. Check out my episode on Bulls Gold. We had Ronnie Brewer Jr. on, former NBA guard, former Bulls guard, Ronnie Brewer Jr. He was on those Tibbs teams. He was part of the bench mob. Check out that episode. The interview went really well. He gave really good answers to our questions that we had. He was just a really engaging guest. So please check out our episode. You can catch them again on the Bar Room. But yeah, that's a wrap for tonight. As for Carl Eames and myself, we'll see you guys next time.
Have a good night, guys.